Chapter 3. Caden closed his eyes and considered the darkness on the inside of his eyelids. It was a space crowded with floating, colored shapes from his just-viewed vantage of growing room 1. The clusters of plants lit by crimson earthlights were the centerpiece to a shadow-cornered cave. With Terma brought from his chest to his head, he lit Retain. The shadow images behind his eyelid sharpened. It was the only way Caden knew to ensure the ability was working. Now he would be able to reflect on his upcoming conversation with the worker. Every sensory detail of it, even some of his own thoughts. When combined with Heighten, it was quite useful. Caden poked his head around the corner. The worker appeared like any other, about his age, small nose, almond eyes like his own, but hairless. Plain smock matching his skin, trousers down to his ankles, unlike Caden's, which cut loosely at the shins, and were colored slate to blend with the darkness. A belt of lizard skin, weak arms, active fingers. What are you doing here so late? He thought. Maybe he was curious how the bulbs had made their big turnaround since Director Dima took over from his predecessor. Caden frowned. Haven still didn't know why Director Lieber was so suddenly sent to his death in the abyss. "Growing fast, aren't they?" said Caden, approaching the worker. The worker started, but turned the attention back on Caden. "Why are you still here?" Of course, Caden should have assumed he would be taken for a worker. "I'm new, so I was a little slower today." "Wasn't your training sufficient?" The worker kept glancing down at the leafy folds of the Terma plant at their feet. Caden tried to calm him. If nothing else, he imagined the worker might find his stubbled beard intimidating. "I think I'll learn fast, but maybe they will give me a new uniform tomorrow." Caden laughed to diffuse the tension. "Perhaps Director Dima will provide you another back at quarters," said the worker. "Sure," said Caden. "So, what was it you were looking at?" "I think I should be going." "It's okay," said Caden quickly. "I'm not a director in disguise. I'm curious too." The worker turned back to face Caden. "Quickly then, the toll will ring soon." He lifted a leaf to reveal the bulbs huddled around the stalk. Normally the Terma plants have 5 bulbs, but this one has 6. "Interesting," said Caden casually. But this was fascinating. With his knife, he cut the entire bulb from the plant. The worker gasped. "You can't do that. It's not ready for harvest." "You mean I wasn't supposed to do that?" He flashed a sly grin. The worker was distracted, felt his nose, sniffed, and looked down as he wiggled his toes. Caden knew he'd caught a whiff of the Terma powder. He was going to make a comment about it, but he was interrupted. A low tone echoed through the walls around them. The first toll. "We should go," said the worker urgently. "You're new, aren't you? Do you know the way back?" "I'll be all right," said Caden, smiling again, brushing his hair from his eyes. The worker grimaced, confused. "But you should probably go now," said Caden. As the worker continued to stare at him, Caden raised his eyebrows. "If I were you, I wouldn't want to be out past the second toll." "Well, then, goodbye, and—" The worker searched for a word. "May you descend in peace." Caden watched as the adolescent strode quickly to the front of the small cavern, only making noise as he replaced his tools in the alcoves lining the entrance wall. Caden shook his head. "The poor boy thought I couldn't handle myself when the sentinels come out to play."